Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Honeybee Stamps. Today I made a super cute card using the Birdhouse A2 card base, and it has a cute little opening door and the front flaps open for a sentiment. So I have die cut the two pieces. You can just use the front piece with the door if you wanted a single story birdhouse, but we're going to go two story on this. So that's how those line up. So I die cut those from white cardstock, and then I'm going to use the Swirling Leaves Pierced A2 cover die on the smallest of the birdhouse. This is the one that's going to go in the front. I wanted this to have some real fun dimension to it, and this Swirling Leaves cover die is so pretty, and you can look and see all those little piercings. Isn't that just gorgeous? And I thought the leaves would go great with the birdhouse theme. So I'm going to adhere the front of this birdhouse. I'm not going to adhere the door because the door will open, but I'm going to adhere this to another white piece. It's the full piece because I need the backing, and I'm going to trim off the top piece. I'm doing this because when I open the door, I want to have a white background. I'm going to take that two-story piece, another one of those, and we're going to ink blend on that. So you'll see why I needed this to have a white piece. So here is the full white two-story die cut, and I'm going to ink this up with two colors of yellow. You will see this inside piece, so I did want to ink blend the whole thing. You're not going to just see the top part because, again, we're going to open up that front part of the birdhouse to reveal this back part of the birdhouse. I'm coming in with a little bit of a darker yellow, just adding some dimension to the ink blending. And then I'm going to bring in the front piece, and I'm going to do this in kind of a peachy coral. I'm going to do lighter at the top and then darker at the bottom, a little bit of ombre. So I'm just going to blend these together. I am making sure to hold down the door because I don't want any ink getting underneath that, because remember, we glued just a solid white piece behind that door. So I'm just going to finish blending these two colors together, and once they dry, then everything will look nice and smooth and it won't look blotchy. Then I die cut the eaves. I also die cut a second door out of wood cardstock. You could just do regular brown cardstock because the door and the detail to the eaves already has wood embossing. So that's going to fit on the front of that. And then I die cut the two eaves from white cardstock, and then the other little pieces are from wood grain cardstock. Again, you can just do brown cardstock because this has the embossing to it, and it's so, so cute. So I'm going to adhere this together. You also could just do different colors of these little strips that go on top of the eaves, and that would be a lot of fun too. I kept it really soft and simple with my color palette, and I really like this soft kind of beachy wood color. So there's the larger eave. Here is the smaller eave, just using some liquid glue and my reverse tweezers to adhere these into place. Once I'm done with this, then I'm going to adhere the door to the front. I did start to just use a tape runner, but the ink wasn't dry yet, so I came back in and added a little bit of liquid glue. I wanted to make sure that that did not pop off. So here's where I decide this is not going to stick, this is not going to stay. Let me use some liquid glue. A little bit of that, and I am just going to flip this around because I feel like I can line it up better at the bottom part where it's straight across, and I'm just going to adhere this down, and I will use my reverse tweezers to hold this in place until it dries. Honeybee Stamps liquid glue dries really, really quick. Okay, so now let's get these cute little birdhouses together. I'm going to adhere the cute little eaves to the top. On this one, you can see that there's an embossing part that has a little heart and a little circle. I die cut those from that same wood cardstock. I die cut this door trim out of white cardstock. I wanted to keep it simple, bring in a little bit more white because it kind of brightened up the whole design. Then there's these cute little door hinges that I die cut out of black because I just think that pop of black is so, so pretty. But if you did like a metallic cardstock, that would be really, really cute too. So again, just using the liquid glue and the reverse tweezers to hold those in place. And then here is the next little piece is that cute heart. Again, I die cut that from the wood cardstock and adhered that in place. Then the little tiny circle that's right below that, you will see embossed images where these little hearts and circles go. For the two-story part of the birdhouse, my brain was stopping there for just a second, sorry. I'm going to adhere the little eaves on top, and then there's a little circle, again, die cut from that same wood cardstock. I'm just going to adhere that into place. And then when you put these together, this is how this is going to look, and it's so super cute. Okay, there's also some feathers and eggs in the die cut from the birdhouse card base die. I'm just coming in with some Copic colors. I'm using YR02 and Y11, and then I'll use BG45 and BG18. I'm just bringing in a little bit of that yellow and orange, and then I'm going to throw in a little bit of teal because I like that color with these colors. I think it's really pretty. So I'm just doing quick Copic coloring just to kind of blend some colors through. I added this BG13 and it didn't work, so I came in with the BG18 and that was just a little bit darker. I'm going to add a few dots around on the eggs, which are already kind of embossed, which is really super cute. I die cut the bird nest from that same wood brown cardstock, and I'm going to glue in my cute little feathers and eggs, and I decided to put 3 feathers in this. Originally I started with just 2. I decided for a third one, and then the very last feather I'm going to put on the inside of the card with the sentiment, which is going to be really, really cute. So I'm just using liquid glue to adhere that down. I'm going to stick this inside that cute door. See, that's where the white background comes from. I'm just going to trim a little bit of that off so it didn't stick out the door, and use my tweezers to put it in place. Okay, so we need to make a flap. So I cut a piece of a little strip of cardstock, a little bit smaller than the side of that birdhouse. I'm going to score right down the center, fold it in half. One side was just a tad bit longer, so I just trimmed off the excess. And this flap is what's going to make that front birdhouse open from the back part of the birdhouse. So I'm just using my bone folder to get a nice crisp edge, and then just trimming off that excess. Now I'm going to use score tape for this. I really like score tape. It's really, really strong. It's going to hold this in place. That way you can open and close this and not worry about it. I would not use tape runner, but you could also use liquid glue. That would be just as good. Once it dries, it's very, very sturdy. So I'm going to put a strip of score tape on each side of that little flap. I'm going to adhere it down first to the back of the birdhouse, the front part of the birdhouse, making sure it's not sticking out anywhere. It's not too long off the sides or coming out behind those scallops. I'm going to push that down. I'm going to bring in my bone folder to really get a good, nice adhesion. Then I'm going to peel off the other part of the release paper and then line this up at the bottom of my birdhouse. And I'm just making sure the 2 sides where the overhang is really lining up before I push that down into place. I'm going to use my bone folder to make that stick once more on the inside, and then definitely on the outside give that a real good push, because I want to make sure that everything is going to hold in place. So I'm just going to use my bone folder, push it down, and then we have this cute opening. So we have the cute little door opening and the inside opening. So now in my MISTI, I have this placed down because I want to stamp my sentiment. The sentiment is from Inside Kindness Stamp, and it says, "Just a card to say you're amazing." I'm stamping that with Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink. Then I'm going to use that last little feather and adhere that right down at the bottom, which I think is cute. I did the sentiment at the bottom so you can write your note to the recipient towards the top. Now you guys know I love these tree hugger wooden hearts, so I thought this was a perfect card to use these on. I used a really tiny one for the doorknob. I'm going to add another one to that heart, and then that circle above, I'm going to add one more small one to the top of that. And then this card is completely finished. I just think these cute little hearts are so much fun and added a lot to this birdhouse. Okay, so this is done. Look at that dimension on the front. You can open up the door for a little fun surprise. You could even put another little sentiment in there. I just wanted to leave it with just the image. And then you're going to open up the card, and now you have the sentiment inside. I think this is such a darling, darling die cut image. I want to thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.